Hey guys, hold on. Let me make sure I've got my sound proper here. Believe I do. Hey everybody, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hope everybody's having a really good Wednesday. Happy hump day, everybody. Wanted to provide an update on a story that we've been working on here. Also, too, wanted to give a special shout out to Queen's Throne, who now has a new channel that everybody needs to check out when they have a moment, called True Crime TV. Very exciting. And I have definitely shared it on my community wall. So check it out when you get a chance. And dropping all sorts of very, really good content, timeless content. Different stories that she's done over the years, and I, for one, have been really enjoying it. So, hey, Third Eye, how are you? Let me take this banner down for a second here, and we will get right into it. We will get right into it. Before we do, though, let me pull this over here. I want to drop this link for their True Crime TV. Sec, I didn't have it ready when I went live. I absolutely love it. Even new artwork as well. Let me show y'all the channel really quick. That's the channel. I'll drop a link to the whole channel for you guys. There you go. Make sure you sub. She's got two premieres ready to go today. A Mother's Day massacre, right? Man kills girlfriend and her kids. Edward Allen Covington. She's going to have a part one, and she's also premiering part two of that as well. So, really exciting. Make sure you sub and show some damn support, man. I know there's a lot of people trying to get into the crimes and justice space, right? I've noticed there's a lot of people trying to break or go into crimes and investigations. All of a sudden now they're vlogging crimes and investigation stories. I think it's becoming a little oversaturated as far as the space is concerned, but it is what it is. I just sort of look at it like I already know I'm influencing the influencers, and likewise for Queen's Throne and myself. We've been doing this crime blogging thing for year upon year upon year upon year. So, and I know there's other people too that have been doing it for a long time. So I'm not referring to them, but yeah, I've noticed, a few people that are trying to sort of break into this space. Um, I'm going to stick with the old school folks, though. Um, those that I've been familiar with that have been doing this for a long time, who are very passionate about it. That's all. Only, if you look at my community wall, that's the only videos I'm going to share. I'm not going to be sharing any crime and justice noobs. You know what noob is, right? Okay. Um, I got to see what their weight is all about, right? I got to see if they're worth their salt, because there's a difference between being into this just for clicks and views and numbers versus being into it because you're passionate about the topic. So I'll leave it at that. Let's get right into it. Brittney Griner, Houston. All right, Houston native Brittney Griner. We have a little bit of an update here on this story. Brittney Griner, WNBA professional, two-time award winning, y'all, like well known, all right, in the United States. I think she would say she unwittingly became a valuable pawn for Russia. Brittney Griner was detained back in February when she was headed back to Russia. She's been playing in the country of Russia for the last 7 years, professional basketball. And she was detained at the airport. She was actually detained. They accused her of having cannabis oil in her bag. I have been saying from the very beginning that I believe that Brittney Griner's detainment was not happenstance. I don't believe it was accidental either. I believe that Brittney Griner was targeted. And I believe that I think it went all the way to the top. I think that they knew Brittney Griner was going to be coming in that day. And there's no way you can miss her walking through an airport, right? But I believe they knew she was coming in that day. And all I will say is this. There is now talk of a possible prisoner swap with a very notorious arms dealer known by his nickname, the Merchant of Death. But let's get some, I'm going to let y'all see this little clip because I just thought that what Joy from MSNBC was saying was right on par. I remember when this case first happened, even I was very considerate about how I vlogged it because I know that I do have, even though Russia is, somewhat cut off from the social media that we sort of view, they still kind of trickle through, right? And I do have a bit of a viewership in Russia. And I think a lot of that has to do with the documentary that I did a couple of years ago that was actually done by RT Today. I was really considerate because I wanted to be kind of careful how I talked about it because you don't want her to become like the most valuable asset in Russia's prison, And I think that there's no stopping it. I think it's already happened. I don't think there's any way to avoid it. The more that I look at this case, the more that I really truly believe that she was targeted. I think that they knew she was coming in that day.
Another month. These are pictures of her leaving court today, handcuffed, wearing an orange hoodie and with her head down. A consular officer from the U.S. Embassy in Moscow was able to speak with Griner today and confirm that she is, quote, doing as well as can be expected under what can only be described as exceedingly difficult circumstances. Earlier this month, the State Department said that the two-time Olympic gold medalist was being wrongfully detained. Griner was arrested at a Moscow airport in February, accused of possessing vape cartridges containing oil derived from cannabis. If convicted, she could face up to 10 years in a Russian prison. Joining me now is Nayyirah Haq, former senior State Department advisor and former White House senior director under President Obama. Nayyirah, thanks for being here. So, the fact that they're extending this detention for a month, it definitely raises the profile of this case and makes it more worrisome in a lot of ways. We've all been kind of keeping a little bit mum a bit on Brittney Griner, not trying to turn her into, an even more valuable hostage. But it feels like that moment has passed.
She's clearly an asset for the Russians to try to use against the United States as they navigate this new space of the United States effectively being at war with Russia, despite the fact that technically Putin invaded Ukraine. We know the United States has supported Ukraine with munitions, with drones, and now we are seeing that Brittney Griner, one of our star players, is being held effectively hostage in Russian prison. 3 months without trial, another month. That's 4 months before she even faces a judge. We have not seen any evidence to say that she actually was carrying marijuana, an offense that in Russia would give her 10 years in prison. We're now seeing that her family, her lawyers are concerned. They are raising the ante. The WNBA itself is now expected to soon launch a petition to gather more players in support of Brittney Griner because they're worried about not only about how she's doing, but the fact that sports is now becoming a political pawn.
Well, and clearly, I think this is the end. Russia is a pariah state. I don't see a whole lot of WNBA players who.
And the thing is this. The thing is this. I think that Joy is right. I think we all do have to accept the outlined fact that Brittney Griner has now become the most valuable prisoner held in, I could list a number of different countries, honestly. So let me tell you what Russia wants. Let me tell you what Russia is. They finally are sort of letting us know, right? Kind of what they're wanting. Again, I think this was planned. And they are now wanting, there's talk. Let me just say this, and let me not say it like that. There is talk and discussion, okay? And this is coming out of Reuters and also Business Insider. Russia there's talks of a prison swap, all right? There's talk of a prison swap with a man who's being currently held in the United States, known as the, quote, merchant of death. A notorious, I don't want to say famous, I wanted to say notorious arms dealer. Many deaths. Say there's many deaths on his head, okay? This is just a report. If you guys have never seen any sort of like documentary on the Merchant of Death, you should take a look. Victor Bout is his real name. He was arrested in Thailand back in 2008. He was sentenced to 25 years in prison in the United States for multiple offenses, right? So the very same day that Brittney Griner appeared in Russian court a few days ago, at this scheduled hearing, it was moved up by 6 days, which resulted in another 30 days being added to her pretrial detainment. Russia's state news agency, Tass, reported that U.S. and Russian authorities are discussing a prisoner swap of Griner and convicted arms smuggler Victor Bout. It was unclear, right, whether these developments or the expedited hearing and the report in Tass, whether they were related. But they come 10 days after the Biden administration reclassified Griner's arrest as a wrongful detainment, signaling that U.S. officials would ramp up efforts to obtain her release rather than wait for the Russian legal system to play out. Now, I do have to mention this. I think that there is some concern regarding Brittney Griner sexual whatever. I wouldn't even call it. It's not sex. Is it called sexual preference? Or she's totally gay, right? The face of a lot of different aspects, even of like the LGBT movement. And Russia, if you're familiar with Russia, it is against the law, okay, in Russia. So that is something I think that is a little worrisome to people, right? I'm going to be really careful what I say, but I'm just saying it is a very worrisome thing. And so Griner, all right, 7-time WNBA All-Star for the Phoenix Mercury, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, arrested for those vape cartridges, saying, now we have not seen any evidence of this. We've not seen any evidence that Brittney Griner took anything into Russia. We don't know that. For all we know, they're just saying that. They've not provided anything. They've not released. They won't even let Brittney Griner, they won't do anything, right? They're literally using her as a political pawn. Unfortunately, the very fear that we all had is happening. Now, again, Griner was returning to Russia, right, to rejoin that UMMC, what is it, Ekaterinburg or something like that. She plays that during the WNBA offseason. Like, my God, this lady is all over She's trying to make that money, right? Um, Now, I'll tell you this, that the State Department has not even directly addressed any sort of questions about this possibility or this prisoner swap. Um, they've not only have they not directly addressed it. I think it's a good idea that they have not directly addressed it, right? And it also has not been confirmed, okay, by any American news outlets. And again, I do think people are being pretty careful about this and how they're reporting on it, and I'm really glad for that. Um, just don't take it at face value, because this could be a ploy by the Kremlin to ramp up pressure on authorities, okay? Now, Victor Bout has always been a high priority for Russia, all right? Always. They've been, I guess really the question here is, what is the Kremlin signaling, really? Because the truth is, a news report like this would not have just popped up in Tass. All right. Tass is state run media. It is completely owned by Russia. It goes all the way to the top. So this would not have just popped up. And I think that this is Russia's way of basically saying what they want. I really hope that this prisoner swap happens. There was just a prisoner swap recently, in which another Trevor Reed was, swapped for another prisoner in Russia. I'm really glad he was able to come home. The conditions in these Russian prisons are absolutely horrible. But I really truly believe that Russia is basically telling us that's what they want. This is just my speculation. And I'm looking forward. I'm hoping that there will be one. I hope it'll happen in the very secret of night, and deep in the night. Um, Maybe they'll even report on it after they swap her. I don't know. I really hope it happens though. And Victor Bout, he's not worth a Brittney Griner, right? The truth is, guys, we always want to enact vengeance on people, right? Like Victor Bout's doing, over 20 years in prison right now. Been in prison, been arrested, since I said like 2008, right? Damn near almost 20 years so far, about 15 years now. Um, Sometimes you just got to let life, karma, just got to let life do what it does, do what it do. It's kind of interesting how karma works, isn't it? Sometimes you don't have to enact revenge. Sometimes it's better just to stand by and just watch. But as you guys know, the United States and Russian relations are at the lowest. I mean, they haven't been this low since the Cold War. This invasion into Ukraine's already putting Russian soldiers on trial. All right. One Russian soldier pled guilty today. And again, there was a very surprise swap of prisoners last month. Marine, right? Like I said, Trevor Reed. So this, we'll see what happens. A little bit more here about Victor Bout, this Russian arms dealer known as the Merchant of Death. He's currently in the middle of his 25-year federal prison sentence, all right, for smuggling arms to the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, the FARC, okay? And these arms were used against U.S. forces. The U.S. Arrested him in Thailand, extradited him to the United States. He was convicted of conspiracy to kill U.S. citizens and officials and providing aid to a terrorist organization. We'll see what happens, guys. I think it would be a very useful swap. I really do. Again, if you guys get a moment, definitely check out True Crime TV. I dropped a link in the chat. Make sure you guys check that out. Have a few more updates later on today. some of these stories that we've been covering. And all I'll say is happy hump day. The week is halfway over, y'all. Until next time.